the Christian Trinity make sense? What about Greek mythology and Hinduism? In this video, we will explore what it would mean for our world to have multiple creators. In this video, we analyze two arguments. The first, the creator or creators must be one in essence or not one in essence. And the second just analyzes what it would really mean to have multiple creators. Before we begin, it's essential that we first understand that the creator must be infinite. Remember that the creator is the first cause. The first cause must be uncaused. So there can't be anything that causes the first cause. If the first cause is uncaused, it must not have had a beginning, because the beginning would be the first cause of that cause. So if something doesn't have a beginning, it's infinite, and therefore the creator must be infinite. There are other reasons why the creator is infinite, but hopefully this will do for now. Let's start with the first argument. The creator or creators is either one in essence or distinct in essence. This argument, in my view, is the most compelling against the Christian Trinity. Let's imagine for a moment that there are multiple creators. These creators must be either identical in every way, or they must be different or distinct from each other in some way. Let's explore the first option, that they're identical in every way. If they're identical, there's nothing that separates any of these creators apart. They're effectively just one. There's nothing that makes them special. In this case, the concept of multiple creators falls apart. They're effectively just one. The other option is that these creators are distinct or different from each other. If they are different, there must be something that sets them apart from each other. But here's where the problem lies. Distinction implies limitation. So if something differs from something, it lacks a characteristic that the other has. So for example, if we have a red apple and a green apple, the red apple lacks the greenness that the green apple has. Similarly, the green apple lacks redness that the red apple has. So if a creator is different from another creator, let's say in being able to do something that the other creator can't do, then this implies that there's a limitation or boundary to that creator's power. But infinity, by definition, doesn't have any limits or boundaries. So a creator with a limitation must be finite. What's more, anything finite is made up of parts or characteristics like size, ability, and the like. I'll link the video that explains all of this down below. But we also said in that video that anything that has parts is composite, and anything composite must have been brought into existence. So if these creators are different from each other, they're distinct in some way, then they must be finite. And if they're finite or have different properties or parts, characteristics that make them distinct, then they must be composite and therefore brought into existence. But we know that the creator is infinite. The creator is the uncaused cause, the beginning of all beginnings. So we must hold that the only conclusion is that there's one creator, and this creator is one in essence. Okay, this next exercise is pretty fun. Let's continue with this idea of multiple creators. If this were true, then there are two options. The first, each one of the creators is capable of creating the universe independently, or each of the creators is not capable of creating the universe independently and therefore relies on the other creators for help. Okay, let's explore the first option. Each of them are capable of creating the universe independently. If this were so, then there wouldn't be any need for the other creators if one creator can do it independently. The other creators would just be superfluous, like many cooks in the kitchen for no reason. This goes against logic and Occam's razor, for example. If one creator is fully capable on their own, what is the need for the other creators? Now, if all of these creators could not create the universe independently, then there must be limits to their power, and thus they're not omnipotent or all-powerful. If this were so, then there are limits to their power. And remember, whatever is limited is finite, and whatever is finite is not eternal, and whatever is not eternal must have been created. So if these hypothetical creators are limited and dependent on each other, then they cannot be eternal, and thus they must depend on something else for the source of their existence. Therefore, they cannot be the ultimate cause of everything. Again, we must say that therefore there can only be one creator who is independent, omnipotent, all-powerful, and one. A plurality of creators just simply doesn't hold up to logical scrutiny. Let's now explicitly focus on the Christian Trinity. The concept of three distinct persons in one essence introduces a paradox. Either the three are truly one, in which case the Trinity would be redundant, Or the three are distinct, which introduces limitation, which is something that is incompatible with infinity. Next, let's examine the idea of multiple gods. In Greek and Roman mythology, and in Hinduism, the gods are distinct from each other, which implies limitation, and this would contradict the fact that the creator must be infinite. Further, in these mythologies, the gods often work together or depend on each other to meet certain goals, which underscores the finite nature of their relationships. Therefore, when we consider the divine, the argument for one creator, who is infinite, without distinction, and independent, remains the most logically coherent and philosophically compelling explanation for the origin of all things. I hope you enjoyed this video. The next will cover the next two arguments. Subscribe to stay tuned. Thank you guys for watching.